Hello, Dr. Bahoviak. I think we're muted. I think I can't hear you. We are muted.
Okay, try now. Hello, is that better?
Yes, that is better.
Wonderful. Yeah. Oh,
We
well,
get those every year.
You're
So we
there.
just moved it.
I'm
This is
here.
like the fifth year.
it's
That's
all
just-
wonderful.
It's all wonderful. Let's keep it wonderful.
Let's keep it wonderful. Let's make some progress.
Yes.
What happened to you today? Let's look what you doing. Yeah.
Oh, I had a meeting with some folks
Mississippi.
from Mississippi. They came in
Yeah.
and I met with them.
What they
They
want?
called me and I just happened to be available where they want to do something called a TIF thing.
A what?
TIF, some type of financing thing.
I don't know
So
what to-
What is that?
I don't know all the understanding, but I said, I told them I would see if they can meet the people upstairs and that. And he's supposed to send me some. He was in town for a couple, he's supposed to be in town for a couple of days. He's a professor at Jackson State in Mississippi.
My daughter used to be the principal violist of symphony orchestra in Jackson.
Oh, really?
Well,
She
hey
may know
there.
this guy. I got his card at the,
Good.
I can't remember his name.
That was a while back. I think it was
Okay.
about 12 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, who knows how long he was there and whether they had contact or whatever.
Oh, blame her. I tried. Carlos was on, we were sitting there chit chatting with him. He's on there.
Hey, how you doing, Joe Seville?
Greetings and salutations. You can,
Hey, how you doing?
Sure.
Still talking about that.
I know, I was looking forward to seeing my buddy. And she didn't feel good. It's off.
you know, whether Counselor Stevenson is going to be present or Zooming.
Yeah, she didn't say. I mean, you had the choice,
Yeah.
right? Oh, be
Oh,
careful
yeah.
with that speaker that's in the middle of the table, not to hit the top of it. And I couldn't move the tables because they're all hooked up to the floor.
Oh,
So we just have to be careful with those.
yeah. I think we could probably survive it.
Yeah, just work around
We
it.
can probably survive that.
Yeah. So Counselor Martin, I think the 5 pieces for the library,
Mm-hmm.
let's have a discussion after East, because, you know, like Hood Homes put all theirs on one,
Right.
but we broke, the
Broken
the
down.
libraries were broken out, like
Right.
Mr. O'Mays likes one on each. So I think if I just read the preamble on all of
All of
them,
them.
then go to
Then do the
discussion.
discussion.
Right, otherwise they'll get convoluted.
Right. And-
We
and-
didn't, yeah, when
And
I
I think
read,
that's what's gonna be.
right, when I revised
And-
it for the
uh-huh.
cost at no cost net, I was thinking, no, I really didn't want to put them all in one.
Good move.
Because we're following the proper procedures
Okay.
that it says in the charter. It says only
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
So I just felt more comfortable leaving it broke out like that, right? Don't you think?
Right. Good
I
move.
did
Yeah, I'll
read
look at
that.
Gerald. Don't you agree, Gerald? Well, this way we follow A to Z and it's on our
Which
side.
one did you do?
Right.
Because I'm doing it from the city's list, and then I divided. it
Hello,
by-
hello.
Well,
Well, that's true.
Who's online? Latimer's online. I don't see anybody else. I'm watching to see when Counselor gets on. Or he might be in person. He's not quite sure yet.
All right.
think you only have 3 minutes. 5 minutes.
How you feel?
I got enough drugs in my system, but it's all good. I'm getting there. It just sucks being back to like scrambled eggs and cottage cheese. You get tired of that. But it's all right. You got, oh, is it your sinuses still, Counselor Gotti? It's changed, the weather changed like we talked this morning.
Yeah,
You know, it's almost like you gotta take that Sudafed.
yeah. My grandson. Yeah,
Either that or it's just, I told you, my little 6-year-old granddaughter, they finally got her appointment, the allergy. I told my daughter-in-law for the past few years. that baby's
Hello,
got
Maze, how
allergies.
are you?
Because my son had him at that age and then outgrew him. And she was the other day, Gimme, I
I'm
don't feel
fine.
good, runny nose and that. Took her to the allergist. Sure enough, she's got allergy.
well, I need to find
These
that
new
out,
mothers
too,
don't want to listen.
because ain't nowhere in the world, every time when the weather change, they take my breath.
But the thing is, these days, there are a lot of people who feel like all they have is allergies.
Yeah.
And my daughter had allergies for 3 days.
Uh-huh.
It's,
And
I got,
think in retrospect, I
it's
had
a cold. I got a cold.
I didn't know, and I should have been staying home.
But I just, I've been telling her because it's always like seasonal stuff. And I said, I'm telling you, Dan, she acts just like her dad did, and he had allergy. It's like this child doesn't have a cold continuously and a runny nose. So, because her eyes were a little bit red. So finally she broke down, and sure enough, but I said, Daniel outgrew his. And my daughter had, allergies when she was a little bit younger.
I wish I'd outgrown mine.
No, I'm developing them now. That's what.
I always have them, but I don't think anybody noticed when I was little.
No. They probably fear just being around German kids. Par for the course. One more
Tracy,
thing.
COVID test kits at the library.
Pardon me, sir?
Oh, we do have these COVID test kits at the library. We just received another supply of those.
Yeah, and I heard that if you go online, homes can get a third set of the test kits sent right to them. It was on the news today.
That's good.
Channel 8 for COVID.
If you have your booster and all like that. you-
Yeah, but they still,
have to
you
get
can get
another one?
test kits sent to your house
All right.
They're
because of the variants.
advising all of us old folks
You take another one,
to have a second booster.
Yeah. I had to have 3.
where you go to Walgreens or somewhere?
They're all over the place.
Oh, all right.
I'm not keeping track of.
No, it's how the sun is shining on it. It was fine before. Oh. Let's do that one more.
Much better.
Okay, it's 6:30, Counselor.
All right. The regular council meeting scheduled for Tuesday, May 17th, 2022 is 6:30. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Okay, Counselor Bahoviak,
Present,
Counselor Stevenson,
Present.
Counselor Gowdy,
Present.
Counselor Martin,
Present.
Counselor Smith. He's running a little bit late.
Okay.
As soon as he comes on, I will.
Continue, Madam Clerk.
Okay, remarks of the public on agenda items only. You have 2 minutes. Please state your name.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gerald Silvera,
Oh, that doesn't work. You just got to talk like.
2203 Lee Boulevard, East Cleveland. Coming for you as Vice President of the East Cleveland Public Library. And on behalf of our President, Mr. Zaki Rashid, we'd like to express our sincere appreciation to Council taking up the land of the station on behalf of the library. Thank you.
Mr. Mays, put your mask on when you talk, so we'll pick up, because I got the microphone this way. Thank you, dear.
Mays, I too am glad. I'm effervescent rather to see it on the agenda tonight. And I will be observing that through whom supporting it, I hope that we have the full council supporting it and not the pseudo council interfering. I'm looking for those 5 people whom we elect to do their due diligence in reference to the 5 pieces that we have on the agenda tonight. Secondly, I again will say to this council, you have the authority. You not only have the authority, you have the authorization, you have the appropriation, you also legislate. That is your responsibility. And as I said before, I'm delighted to see that you are stepping forward, doing your due diligence. Thank you.
Any public on Zoom like to speak? Mr. Latimer?
Good evening, council and administration. Thank you for having us on the agenda, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees and staff, we'd like to thank you for the council for your engagement, your participation in programming at the library, and seeing firsthand how important for us to expand our resources and services and our facility to the community. So again, thank you for moving this to the next steps, and we will wait patiently for conclusion. So thank you.
Okay, sir.
Hello, my name is Andre. My wife is Linda King. We are hoping, we've been shelved a few times on the docket for.
Oh, that one you have to wait till the next week. This is agenda items only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then at the next. Is there anybody else that'd like to speak on agenda items only? Go back there on the chart. Okay, hearing none, we're going to move forward. Next, reports and announcements of the mayor.
The mayor's,
Will
the
is
ma-
online.
the mayor presently is not in attendance. I don't see anyone from the administration.
Ms.
in
Hemmings
attendance.
is online.
Oh, Willa Hemmings, can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
I see,
Are you?
I see the mayor. I see the mayor.
He's
The
online.
mayor's
He's
here.
online.
Oh, okay, I didn't see him. Mayor?
Good afternoon. How's everybody?
Hi, Brandon King, how are you?
Good.
Are you gonna stay upstairs or are you gonna come down with us?
I'm trying to finish my emails. Get some of this stuff off my desk.
Oh,
I will try to come down there when I'm done.
thank you.
My-
Some people that would like to,
Came
we
out?
have some new people that would like to meet you. Thank you.
Okay, I'll try to stop in after this. Yeah, my talking points.
This is your reports and announcement portion, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Welcome East Cleveland, welcome council. Thank you all for coming out tonight. COVID update. Please stay tuned to the state and our local county for the most current updates on what's going on with the new variants. And of course, the recommendation is still to protect yourself, get vaccinated, and follow the CDC guidelines, social distancing, washing your hands, all that. Encourage everyone to get vaccinated. Of course, Walgreens has a vaccination. City Hall remains at a soft close. I hope those of you who are downstairs have noticed some of the rehab. We are trying to get this stuff finished as quickly as possible. Council, your office looks amazing. I'm sure you can't wait to get in there.
Like,
Ask you for your continued patience and understanding as we keep getting this done. Last Friday, and I'd like to thank our council vice president and council for passing the legislation last week. Last Friday, the fiscal commission gave us a thumbs up on the master lease, which would allow us to be more prudent as we expend city funds, rebuilding East Cleveland together, buying equipment and getting things done. That's 4 vehicles, over $1 million in financing. It's just smart thing to do financially. So thank you, council, for that. Also, thank you. I know that we're going to be discussing here very soon the East Cleveland Impound and Detention Center, as we have a number of pieces of legislation that are coming at you. As those of you who've been with us for a number of years know, the Impound and Detention Center was something when I rewrote the city's fiscal recovery plan, I put that in there as a way to safety first, and then to generate income. As many of you know, towing cars is something the city's been doing forever, and we were just not benefiting at all from the cars we were towing. So we have legislation coming at you, council, to help further what you've already passed in the 5-year forecast. So look forward to that, and I'd like to thank you in advance for attending to that. Spectrum, for those of you who don't know, Spectrum has purchased Windspeed. Windspeed, of course, is the old East Cleveland cable. It is now Spectrum. I'd like to also make you aware of a collaboration with the Cleveland Institute of Art and the city of East Cleveland. They're going to do a mural project. I'm sure many of you have seen the project with an East Cleveland resident that's here at Noble and Euclid. They're going to do a Welcome to East Cleveland mural on Woodworth and 133rd. Stay tuned for that later this summer. There'll also be a cookout and a festival, some festivities with that unveiling. I want to also announce something that we're working on. It is a utility assistance resource fair. Ton of partners. We can all benefit from this as all the utility companies are represented in this. You have your water, gas, electrical, and your sewer. This is to help with utility payments and funding that has been made available to assist communities such as ours. Potholes, I know many of you have noticed that we've been patching potholes all over the city, including the bus pass. You've also noticed road resurfacing projects going on. So we're excited that many of these roads have been not maintained for a number of years are being tended to. We're also still reviewing pothole killers. We had a demo from them, and we're still reviewing their pricing and their product to see if it's something we want to bring in. Many of you remember we bought in one of their competitors a number of years ago, and they had a machine that just drove around with an arm that filled the potholes on the spot. Pretty neat, and I'm hoping it works so that we can bring them in. It'll help us speed up road repair this year. ARPA funding, our HOG program is still underway. We're still looking for contractors. So if you know contractors who need some work, we have residents that have work for them. Please let us know. Want to make two other announcements. One, Little Caesars this Friday, May 20th, will be at the Salvation Army, called the Love Kitchen. I believe we took some of these downstairs. Sorry, they're sitting right here. We will send them down so that we can pass them out at council. They'll be passing out pizzas at the Salvation Army. That's this Friday, 12:30 p.m. I know it was mentioned at the special council meeting. However, I think it's worth mentioning again, and this is my final piece. Sometimes our safety forces, our staff in general, gets an undue rap, if you will. So when special attention is given and awards are given, I think it's always worth noting the commendable service that is done. I'm holding in my hand something that was mentioned last week from the U.S. Marshals. Our Chief of Police, Scott Gardner, is mentioned by name as a recipient of this award. I'm going to make a couple copies of this and bring them downstairs as well. I think it's great news worth sharing about the East Cleveland Police Department. Our safety forces in general do a phenomenal job. That's why many other cities are always poaching police and especially fire, because our fire are some of the best in the state. Council President, that concludes my report. Unless there's any questions.
Mayor?
Yes, Willa.
Is the town hall meeting number available yet?
Yes, so I'm waiting on a number for the town hall meeting this Thursday at 6 p.m. We have our first town hall. Please join us. We are still waiting on the computer to generate a number from the service company that we use. We will put it up online and we will send it out to the list that we have of people who want to be notified. This Thursday, 6 p.m. If I get that number before the end of the night, Council President, I will share it with you and with everyone on the line.
Would you
Thank you,
repeat, would you repeat that again? Because I got distracted. Say that
No
last part
problem.
again, please.
So this Thursday, we will have a town hall meeting. This Thursday, 6 p.m. As always, the topics include what's going on in the city. Will be part of the state of the city. We'll also have our police there to go over police stats. And as always, we'll take questions from you, our residents. We'd love to hear from you. This Thursday at 6 p.m., I'm waiting on the computer that we use to generate us a phone number that you can call into. If I get that before the end of this meeting, Council President, I will supply that so everyone on the call tonight can get it, but I don't have the number yet. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, let's move on.
Okay, next, reports from council committees.
Yes, we'll start with Councilor Corinne Stevens.
Finance Committee will meet on Thursday at 6:30 here in the council chamber. We haven't met in a while. So, actually haven't met in 3 months, so we'll meet on Thursday. Thank you.
What time, Ms. Stevenson?
6:30.
6:30? Okay. Counselor Patricia Bloviak?
General Service and Administration will be meeting on 5:30 on Thursday. And as we've done before, if the other counselors don't show up, you'll have a community meeting about the same topics. I was at a end of the year celebration for the Provost Scholars. And for those who don't know, those are students from Kirk and Shaw who go to Case Western Reserve University, and they have a mentor in an area of their interest, and they also get some special tutoring. So they divided into 3 groups, and one of the groups discussed potholes in East Cleveland. It was unfortunate that They spoke rather quickly and their slides were rather small, but I'm hoping to bring them here to do their presentation. Interesting that they were talking about looking for funding to fill our potholes. And I would like to see more from our budget, especially from our stimulus funds to be used for improvement of our roads. The bus pads have improved, but the one closest to the city hall is still in awful shape, as are a number of them. It was also called to my attention, which I hadn't really noticed, that some of the bridges need attention. I will be wondering whether the administration has done an evaluation of our bridges. The pothole on Mayfair that I have been complaining about has gravel in it, and I hope we'll get something a little more permanent. So we always talk about respect here, and respect is not taking items that would go on my committee and putting them on the main agenda without any discussion with me. It's also not coming close to me without a mask on. But I would like to read a poem. It comes from the Healing Circle, and it was read by Stephanie House in the Cleveland City Council meeting. And I dedicate this to 2 members of council. It will be obvious which ones when you hear it. To the women who are labeled aggressive, keep being assertive. To the women who are labeled bossy, keep on leading. To the women who are labeled difficult, keep telling the truth. To the women who are labeled too much, keep taking up space. To the women who are labeled awkward, keep asking hard questions. Please don't shrink yourself to make people happy. Be yourself. You're beautiful, Beth. Thank you. And I thank, as I said, Stephanie House,
Council Blowback, what time is your meeting Thursday?
5:30.
Thank you.
At any rate, I do hope to continue this discussion that I've been trying to complete about the roads and the streets and all the relevant issues. We have made progress. Finally got Keisha Chambers to the last one. That was very enlightening to me, and I had been asking for that information for some time. And I guess the rest of what I have on my list goes at the end and not here. It's not related to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Juanita Gowdy.
Yeah, I contract the property, tier contract the property. And we had met last month for the sidelights, and we are meeting today, which is a good thing for the library. Hope that they get it. We want them to get it. We want you to have it because you've been taking care of it for such a long time. It is an honor for us to give y'all those nights. And that's about it.
Thank you. Is Ernest Smith, Mr. Smith, are you with us now? Councilman Ernest Smith.
Counselor Smith, are you logged on, sir?
He's not. Health and safety. Last week I had a chance to, I was walking and I had a chance to go to our tow yard. And it was covered in black and stuff, and they let me in. And I had a chance to and the first time I've been inside the tow lot. And I went and saw all the cars. There's some very nice cars in there. And I asked the officers there what was going on. And they were saying to me that some of the cars are there for months and months. And I did a little research on it and talked to a few people around and find out that once that's full, and it was full then, They couldn't get another car in there. They told the Kuffner Towing Company tows the cars on the other side of town. So we're losing money there, and that I'll discuss that, but we're losing money. I mean, almost 30, from what I calculated and from information I got, almost $30 a month, $30,000 a month we're losing on towing. And I thought about it. I talked to some people that know this kind of business, and they were saying that suggested some things that we can do, which I'll discuss when we get to that. But if we delay this, I want you to listen to me. If we delay and not act on this, we're losing money. Also, in the back of where our tow lot is, we should have that also. And I think, and I'm going to talk to Mayor about that, where we can get another 20, 30 cars. But we can't let these cars sit here for 5, 6, 7. Some of those cars, when I saw a list, have been there over a year. So that means that if you're paying $20, $25 a day for a storing fee, that's what, $2,000, $3,000. They're not going to, a lot of people are not going to be able to do it. So what I discovered is that we really need to act on this and not delay, because we're losing money. This is my bias, if you would. I think the towing can be done. We hire people and tow them for ourselves. Okay, that's just common sense. And if we extend our lot, the back lot there, which is nothing back there, if we're able to get that, we get another 30, 40 cars. But the issue that stood out to me that I discovered, I'm talking, that I discovered is the cars are sitting there, some very nice cars. And I asked the officer, he said, well, this car been here for 4 months, this been 5 months, that type of thing. And my feeling, this is me, that we can expedite this. Talk with the law director, find out what the state law is, how legally long we're allowed to do it. And then we need to move those cars. If people get the notices, it is sent out from the law director and all like that. Once we go through the proper process and procedure, we need to move those cars. We should be getting the money that Cuffman's getting, and that's been on my mind. So I just wanted to share that from the health and safety. Thank you. And the other thing, Chief Gardner, I read it at the last council meeting, his award, okay? And I think we ought to give a round of applause for his good work, okay? That concludes health and safety. Let's move on.
Next is legislation.
Okay,
Is there a representative here for DeVito Parker? Is there a representative for DeVito Parker?
hold on 1 second, Ms. Stevenson.
If there's no representative for DeVito Parker, resolution number 1522 will be tabled until the next council meeting. It's for a side lot.
Right, all we ask, and we've been doing this for months now, is that people come up and show what they want to do with it. 98% of the time, people get the property. Okay, we just need to know that you're doing something and let you know that we care about what you're doing. Okay, let's move to the next.
Resolution number 3322, resolution authorizing mayor to sell certain inoperable surplus vehicles through auction to scrap dealers or to sell the complete lot of salvage city vehicles through competitive bidding. This is requested by the Police and Service Department.
Resolution 3322 bears your name, Patricia Blueback. What is your pleasure?
No, this is just, it's a first read.
Oh, first-
It
oh,
is
first
only
read. Okay.
discussion.
All right.
First
Yeah.
read. You
First
don't
read.
do anything, right? This
Okay.
is just discussion, sir.
Right, I didn't see, I didn't notice it. Go ahead.
As you're aware, I have requested that this be in committee. There,
I-
if you look at my my papers on this, you'll see that there's orange highlighting, which shows number of areas of concern.
All right,
I would
Okay,
like
very.
to have the administration present at 5:30 on Thursday, as well as council members.
well, the mayors come in, Mayor, you're being requested to be at a meeting. Would you repeat that, Ms.
He's doing his
Blueback?
town hall meeting.
Town hall meeting.
They already
Yeah,
stated, town
your
hall meeting
is
Thursday at 6.
right?
Yes.
at
Right.
6.
And your meeting is Thursday.
Be here at 5:30.
But I'm sorry, I'll be getting ready for the 6 o'clock countdown.
Okay. Let's move on.
I got my hand up.
Oh, I didn't see. Go ahead.
I got something to say about this, because. I
About
know
what? What
about this-
specifically?
The
This
first one,
legislation, 3322.
Go ahead.
Why is it that these vehicles and all of this inoperable so-called equipment is not being auctioned off? I mean, it seems to me that you're saying the cars are in good shape, then how come this city is not auctioning off its equipment like other cities do, like cities that we buy used equipment from? Why is it that our equipment is going to the junkyard, the junkyard is paying the lowest amount of money for metal that they ever could pay? And I don't agree with the fact, yeah, we gotta get rid of the cars, but I don't think that this is the best practice.
Okay. I heard, wait a minute, go ahead. You haven't been recognized. Ms. Stevenson asked a question, maybe would you respond to that?
thank you, Council
Yes.
President.
Then we'll hear from
The
Ms. Bogan.
counselor is 100% correct. The vehicles that we have purchased over the years, we have purchased from cities as far away as Tennessee. If you will think back, I believe it was last year, we did auction off a used fire truck. Matter of fact, it was a couple fire trucks we did auction off. For the purposes of the legislation here, we are talking about vehicles that have been towed into the city's impound lot. So Council, I think you may have just
I didn't say that, right. I didn't say that.
exactly understood what it was this was saying. This is talking about vehicles that go into the impound lot. Vehicles that the city purchases will still come back in front of you to allow us to sell. And if you think back, or if you look back, you'll see that last year we did sell a number of city vehicles.
That doesn't answer my question, I'm sorry, and I
Can you repeat your question, Ms.
I
Stevenson?
didn't. What the mayor is saying is not what I meant. What I mean is that every time we have vehicles, it does not matter if they come into the tow yard or not. Because if they come into the tow yard, you don't have a title, you can go get a title. Okay? That is this city's job to bring money into the city. Now, it don't matter if they was towed in there. The deal is, whenever this city has equipment in mass, it needs to be auctioned off. We need to get the most for our equipment. And what they're paying at the scrapyard, I can't even take my cans there. I'd rather bring them and give them to the fire department. So what I'm saying is to put in place the process to auction this stuff off.
Councilor, thank you. The legislation that's coming at you is exactly that.
It should have been done.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
confusion.
Yes.
3322, 3322, this is inoperable. This was the fire,
It
the
does
police car
not
that was totaled
matter.
and 2 cars from
Does not
service
matter.
garage.
Okay, hold on.
You're talking about the other piece of legislation. 3322 was for the inoperable.
It does not matter.
And that's what she's talking about, that they should still be auctioned off.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it says.
Maybe for public.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's-
Well, that's okay, but we feel is what we need to do.
Yes,
Okay.
I think we're all on the same page
Right.
now. Anything that we own and we have the title to will come back in front of you, right? Came to you to buy it, will come to you to get rid of it. Everything that we impound, that we tow, the legislation, the next piece allows us to then auction. That's what it's here for.
Okay, hold on one second. The auction seems to be something that some of the council are trying to get some clarification. Are we doing that?
Right now, we are
Not.
not. We need the legislation to allow us to.
Well, where's Willa at?
She's is Will online?
Yes.
Okay, you have a question for her?
Yes, when will we get the legislation for this auctioning off this equipment?
Willa, did you hear a question?
Yeah, yes, that's not on this agenda, I don't believe.
No,
The
she
toy
wants,
yard-
She know when, she wants to
no,
know.
no, no, 3322 is
Oh.
what Counselor Stevenson is talking about. She would like to see those pieces, 3322 that says surplus. She would like those to go to auction, not just scrap.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Okay, I mean,
Willa, with Mayor, can she respond to that, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Willa, please respond to that.
Oh, you mean auctioning off the scrap metal?
Well, it does say auction in the preamble.
So.
Yes.
Yes, so we did this at the last one. We came to you and we put legislation that would allow us that flexibility to scrap it, to auction it, and luckily, we had somebody who came in, they bought the fire truck and another piece of equipment at the auction. Other pieces were scrapped, so that's what this is gonna allow, either or.
But she still ain't told me where.
So we need you to pass this, and then we'll set up the win.
No.
we need to know.
This is included in that. So if this is included in that, that's why I'm asking the question, when? When are we going to see the legislation that sets up the auction process?
Here it is right here.
No, this don't set up no auction process.
Yes,
This
it does.
allows you to sell certain inoperable surplus vehicles. That's what this
Keep
says.
going, keep going.
It says through auction.
To scrap dealers or sale.
There you go.
That's not my question, sir. My question is, when will we get the legislation to set up the auction process?
Willa, can you answer that?
She wants to know what is the exact
What's the
process for auction?
timeline?
Oh,
Give us a timeline. I know you
Yeah,
can't give us.
that's,
an-
Yeah,
that's why she's looking for legislation.
The
on how it
auction,
works.
Okay,
the auction process is governed by state law. We can abide by the state law and we will make sure that we are legal in doing everything that the process as legislated by the General Assembly is followed.
And how many is it for that?
Well, would you get that to our clerks, something more concrete so that.
Okay, no
Okay, wait a
problem.
minute. I'm recognizing you, Ms. Paloviak.
As I see this, for one thing, it says auction to scrap deal.
Right.
Now, some of these vehicles may not be operable, but they might be something that somebody else could make operable. That's something that needs to be
Right.
considered. Also, sell the complete lot. Well, that doesn't make sense to me either, because some of the things might be totally useless and some of them might be almost operable. And then as I look at this, they talk about vehicles that are over 3 years old and 10 days of mail publication. And they talk about left someplace for 48 hours or longer. If they're 3 years old or older, I don't know about everybody else in this room, but my car fits the definition of 3 years or older. And yes, it has some rust. And then, I mean, it's just that these criteria here that go along with that. A vehicle is operated by a person who's driving without a license. Oh, wait a second, these criteria, I just,
That's state law. I think that she's confusing the toll lot legislation with the definition that was,
Ms. Cummings, who is not the law director, you are interrupting me.
You can't mention
Okay,
somebody by name and say.
At any rate, I would like to have someone knowledgeable from the administration here at 5:30 on Thursday.
we'll see if Jamaica can have someone here 5:30 Thursday. And I'm gonna see if I know I got something scheduled, but I'll see. Okay, let's move on.
Well, I
Okay,
didn't speak.
No, Counselor Gowdy did.
Oh, yeah, Golly, I didn't know.
Okay,
Mr. O'Macy have not been recognized, please. Go
Okay,
ahead.
Cupler,
Yeah.
we did not do a contract with him, so why does he keep towing these cars?
Who's towing the car? I think.
I mean, we
did-
did not do a contract with them. They never
We have
came
a
before
contract with
us.
them.
Who did it? We did not pass no contract.
No, we have,
When did it-
we have a
when did the
contract with them,
contract
don't we?
pass? No, we did not. We never had
No,
a
no.
contract with them. They
If we
supposed to came
have a
before us.
Contract, it should be in the council.
They supposed to
office
came
just look
before
at it. We
us.
should have approved it.
And,
Hold
and
on,
I asked
hold
for
on.
two
I
meetings.
hear you, Ms. Gotti.
Council
Do
President.
it, yes, go ahead.
So last year, we did follow the bid process and we put it out to bid. The recommendation from the bids was covered. We sent the recommendation along with the legislation down to city council, who did not pass.
Right.
As such, the police department or whoever on behalf of the city is towing vehicles can put in a call to any tow company that they like. We do not currently have a contract.
Okay,
And we need to, get on that
Uh,
too, because it should never be like that, because
well, we need to.
they towing trucks, tearing up everybody's stuff. And then that's why the people don't want to get their stuff, when they go back there and see their stuff, it's all tore up. And then a lot of times when a couple people came and I'm sitting in the hallway and they arguing the fact that my car is no longer in my name. They said that my car is no longer in my name. Somebody took my identity and switched, and they get ready to scrap the car. So, you know, this is kind of messed up. We need to do some investigation on that.
Can you be here Thursday at 5:30?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Uh,
Let's move
Mr.
on.
President, can I
Yeah.
be recognized, Mr. President?
Yes, you may. You have the last comment on this. We need to move on.
Yes, the legislation that Counselor Bahoviak is referring to is the state law. Our law doesn't contain those kinds of definitions. We are following the state law. So we don't have any impact because we're not the General Assembly. We're just acting pursuant to the state law and making our laws consistent with what is allowable by the state. I just wanted to point that out so that there's no confusion.
Can
The
you
state
keep,
law,
uh,
the state law defines what is junk. Okay, the state law defines what is
Oh, they
junk.
don't.
Ms.
And
Whitney,
I gave the supporting legislation, and I think that's being
They did
confused
not come out
with
here. Well,
our law.
okay, we're not gonna resolve this tonight.
Just going back to
We'll
committee.
go back to a committee and we'll deal with it Thursday. Let's move on. Okay.
Okay, so resolution number 3322 will be placed back in
Back in the
committee
right,
and will be heard on Thursday, Counselor
Yes.
Bobiak.
yes, okay.
Do we have a representative for Lynetta Hood Taylor?
Is Lynetta Hood Taylor here? Okay, if she's not here, we're gonna table it. and
Okay.
Move to the next one. Okay,
Is there a representative for Tanique Meredith here?
Tanique Meredith. She's not here.
Nope, we're
Okay,
moving on.
we're-
It's gonna be
we're
tabled.
Table it, okay?
Okay, ordinance 3822. An ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, 2022 Energized Community Grant in amount of $21,897. This is a first read.
Okay, let's move on.
Ordinance number 3922. An ordinance to amend section 307.07 of the codified ordinances of the city of East Cleveland to allow for the auctioning of impounded motor vehicles that are unclaimed or abandoned. This is also a first read.
Okay,
Can we send
Okay.
it back, doesn't this go back?
She's going to discuss it on Thursday.
you're gonna, yeah, we'll put it back in Ms. Prohoviac's committee to be discussed Thursday. Let's move on.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, these next, 1, 2, 3, 4. The next 5 ordinances, since they're all first reads, I'm going to read them all
Would you
because
read-
they
you
all
started
pertain.
with
and then you could
4022,
discuss.
and you're gonna
Yes,
read
right.
them all, please. 'cause they're-
Okay,
they're
and then you have
connected.
discussion.
All right,
Ordinance number 4022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to transfer to the East Cleveland Public Library at no cost permanent parcel 672-11004, which shall be utilized by the East Cleveland Public Library for library purposes. This is the first read. Ordinance number 4122. We're going to read
We're
all of
gonna
them
read them all. Yeah, we're gonna read them all.
because we didn't
Because
put
they
them all in one.
They're connected. They're all the same. Go ahead.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to transfer to the East Cleveland Public Library at no cost permanent parcel 672-110-05, which shall be utilized by the East Cleveland Public Library for library purposes. Ordinance number 4222. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to transfer to the East Cleveland Public Library at no cost permanent parcel 672-110-06, which shall be utilized by the East Cleveland Public Library for library purposes. Ordinance number 4322.
Go ahead.
Ordinance number 4322, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to transfer to the East Cleveland Public Library at no cost permanent parcel 672-110-07, which shall be utilized by the East Cleveland Public Library for library purposes. Ordinance number 4422, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to transfer to the East Cleveland Public Library at no cost permanent parcel 672-110-08, which shall be utilized by the East Cleveland Public Library for library purposes. All five of the aforementioned ordinances are a first read. They have been requested by Council of the Whole. They are sponsored by Councilors Nathaniel Martin, Ernest L. Smith, Patricia Bohoviac, Juanita Gowdy, and Corinne C. Stevenson.
Okay. We don't have to discuss it, but what I'm going to do, since there's so many of them, we brought them together, I'm going to give our councilors a few minutes to
Yeah,
say something.
The mayor
about it.
has.
We'll start, well, before I see Mr. Bohoviac, and I'm going to hear the mayor, then we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Council,
Yeah.
so, Council President, give me going backwards a little bit.
Okay.
We spent a considerable amount of time discussing ordinance 3922. It is the ordinance to amend section 307.07 of the codified ordinances of the city of Cleveland to allow for the auctioning of impounded motor vehicles that are unclaimed or banned.
That's an impound, that's not for everything.
This allows us to get rid of the impound and put them in our name. This is what we're talking about for about 10 minutes when I walked in.
But that's
It's-
impound only.
That's what we want to do. We
No,
want to get this.
do everything.
Yeah, but you got to do it in steps. You can't do everything in one piece of legislation. You got to have separate pieces of legislation. This addresses the impound lot. This helps us get those vehicles out of it.
Right.
Well, why can't they get their
Well,
own?
I tell you
Why
what,
can't it say all?
would that make you more comfortable saying all?
Yeah.
It can't,
Can you do that?
It can't read all because the other vehicles, as you see back here, are already owned by the
and that's,
city.
well, that's the problem,
How-
because we don't have any backup, which is what I was trying to tell them earlier. I can't make a decision about none of it, because I don't have any backup.
So I got the
And we don't
email
even-
and I printed out the backup was attached to the email.
Well, this is what we got.
The backup was attached to the email.
Backup was attached to the email.
There was
The clerk do a
42
pretty good
pages to the
job.
email.
42 pages,
Yeah, we
right.
don't have printing. We
right,
couldn't
we-
print. That's why
So where's
everybody has
that?
printers at home.
And let me say this, our public, our council's been down for 2 weeks, going on 3 weeks. We're getting it renovated. We should be back in it hopefully next week. So a lot of things that we do, we're able to do. Okay.
For these, I printed these on my
Yeah.
printer at home.
I know when I
We
saw,
could've
look on my
used-
computer, I
could've
saw
used
it was
they
42 pages. I saw 42 pages.
We could have used their printer.
Okay.
I mean, come on now. I don't care if it's 42, 82, we could have used their printer. If they bringing all this information, we need to read it before we even say yes or no. Period.
So
So
what
we
is,
need some more
So
information
they're
on all
first
this.
reads.
the first read,
Yeah.
so we got two,
Okay.
2 weeks.
I've asked
We-
them to
okay,
be
hold on one
recognized,
second.
So don't go on without.
Okay, okay. Your first reads,
Uh-huh.
you got 2 weeks to clear up this. Ms.
But I'm
Wilson,
hoping, Council President,
yeah,
first read, I'm not sure if you sent this one back to committee or not.
Yes, it went back.
right, it went back, I
Yeah,
sent it back, yeah,
Okay.
right.
Her
Okay.
committee meeting is Thursday.
Yeah,
She's
her
gonna
committee meeting is
discuss
2
it.
days from now.
And get it there. Before we
Okay,
make a decision.
okay, Ms. Blovac, go ahead.
So regarding the properties for the library,
All right,
we are restricted what we can make an emergency. By
right,
what affects the health and safety of our citizens. And anyone who's spent any time in education knows that our children, if they are not properly educated, they're more likely to drop out. If they drop out, they're more likely to be on the streets. They are more likely to die, literally. Therefore, I believe that this legislation can all be made an emergency. And I move that each one of these be amended to make them an emergency.
Why can't you go to emergency?
No,
Why?
because it's property. If you read charter, I read it very thoroughly. You can't do emergencies on property. It has to be two reads. Now, we're going to
This is
pass,
the
right,
second.
we're going to pass this the first Tuesday in June. The entire council supports this. So let's not mess it up. Let's have the first reading, right, and then the second read, it's gonna pass. This, you know what,
Okay, that's
let
fine.
me say this too.
That's
And put
fine.
off, and put off, and
That's
put off,
fine.
and put off.
It's okay, we're gonna pass it anyway.
Very seldom does this council, 5 of us agree on something. 5 of us agree on this. It's gonna pass. But I don't want us to make any mistake by not following the proper process and procedure. Okay,
I
thank you,
respect that.
thank you. Okay, go ahead, Mick. Go ahead.
Council President,
Yeah,
you said it very eloquently. I am glad that all 5 councilors agree with it. And I agree with it.
thank you.
However, I would humbly ask that council do exactly as the council president just stated. Follow all policy and procedure. There is a procedure in place that we make everyone go through when they want property out of the city land bank. I would ask humbly, don't make an exception, because the next person's gonna come to you and ask you to make an exception because you made this exception. I would ask that you follow the policy and procedure. We all know that property been back there for 20 years. It ain't going nowhere until you, as a body, say something. When you vote on it, it's gone. They're only looking to do a parking lot, so I don't see the emergency in a parking lot, right?
Right,
If you guys let it follow the proper procedure, right?
I don't-
Parking lots.
It follows the proper
come on,
procedure,
everybody, everyone.
right? It'll get to you. You vote on it, no problem. But here, you're skirting your own policies and procedures. No application,
Mayor,
no-
okay.
no appraisal, no NAC, right?
Right.
You're not following your own, and council. Council President,
Yes,
we're all African Americans.
you're right, right, right.
Do you realize what y'all did to that man last week?
What man you talking about?
Mr. Hood.
You
Mr., is he giving up?
realize what you took him through?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Who y'all?
But it was
What's the
policy and
NAC?
procedure. It was policy and procedure. Can't nobody really
That
argue
was
with that,
not
right?
us.
Right.
That was your
But
people.
now look, you scared me here. That's all I'm saying.
No. it
We
ain't
should
about that.
follow the same
but don't be trying
formula
to throw that
for
on
everyone that comes to get property out of the land bank. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
All right.
I know you want me to be quiet. I know you want me to be quiet when I'm saying something like that.
The mayor made his point, and everybody heard it. Let's move on, okay?
That's it.
That's
So the
it.
Statement is that. my
Miss
motion
Gowdy,
died
I
for
mean,
lack
Miss
of a
Blahoviak, I have not recognized,
second. You're
please.
going on without.
Oh, right. What,
Without dealing with my motion. So
well,
the
okay, you put a
statement
motion,
that
is there a
needs to be
second, is there a second to
made
Miss
is that
Blo,
the
is there a
motion
second
dies
to
for
Miss
lack of a
Blo?
second.
Is there a second to Miss Blahoviak's
Second.
motion? You
Make it
second, you
emergency?
second it?
Yeah.
Okay. You wanna call a roll?
But you can't by the charter. You cannot make it an emergency.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Yeah, and Mr.
I
O'Meara,
withdraw
this is
my-
one time he
I told
agreed.
them that, but they don't listen.
Come on
No,
now.
she was doing something. She was
Okay,
doing
she wasn't
something.
listening.
No, she was doing
my
something.
motion.
Right,
Okay.
because she's
And I'll
really
do it
pushing for this.
through procedure.
Y'all have to follow.
You're doing
Oh,
quite
alright.
good
Yeah.
But she had a motion on the floor.
She
to make
can
it
have
into
money.
an emergency.
Right,
She can't make it.
And
Okay.
the motion died for lack of a
okay,
second.
okay, thank
Correct.
you. let's move on.
Now we can move on.
Okay, thank you.
We're still
Thank you for your
discussing
patience. All right, we're down to remarks and requests for the public,
Yes, remarks and requests of the public. You have 3 minutes. You can speak on anything.
okay,
I'm gonna start with the last of and give me my 3 minutes. And I'm not going, I'll probably go over my 3 minutes as you go over your 5 minutes. He always interrupted when I get up.
go ahead, Ms. Mason, you have the floor. Okay,
Number one, you want to follow proper protocol. Number one,
That's fine.
me 3 minutes, you're 5 minutes. Now, let me put something in order here.
all right,
This council, you legislate, you appropriate, and you authorize. You don't have to go through no committee. Let the mayor sit up here preach to you what you should do. That is what you should do. You usurp, no one can usurp your authority. You don't have to go through no committee if you don't want to, and you can move it forward. That is the law. And secondly, you look in your ordinance and what have you, and you have your clerk doing other things, looking at, we passed legislation in reference to impounding and cars, how they're to be auctioned off, etc. We did it during my tenure on this council. So
So there's
Let him-
legislation that exists.
yes, that legislation exists in reference to that. And don't listen to the law director, because we are a self-ruled and home ruled city. So we make laws. And as long as they do not conflict with the state laws or what have you, whatever. So we have laws on the book or what. So what he's talking about doesn't hold water. And so you have the authority, not him dictating to you how you operate. He has to follow it, whether he like it or not. And he veto it, then you override his veto and it still become law. That's what your job is here. That's what we elected you to do. He is to carry it out. And second, city has always auctioned off vehicles, etc. During my tenure, before I got on council and after I left council. So don't let the mayor dictate to this council. You dictate to him. And Mr. President, I'm calling you out now.
go
You
ahead.
do not let the mayor just get up and speak. You should sit in, he's out of order.
He can have, no, he
he's
wasn't,
out of
I
order.
allowed
When
him to
you
speak.
had
He was in.
recognized.
If I allow him to
No,
speak, he's in order. I allowed him to speak.
No.
That's my prerogative.
Excuse
Go
me.
ahead, Mr. O'May.
No.
You have your opinion, but I don't agree with that. Go
Where do
ahead.
you agree?
Supposed to go back and forth.
20
Right.
seconds.
Go ahead.
No debating
he
back and forth, sir.
interrupted me.
Go ahead. You gonna tell me what to do?
I'll add
No,
5,
no.
Yeah.
I'll add 5 more seconds.
Can I? Excuse me.
Yeah,
As
15.
I'm trying, the mayor speaks before council. Council is the last person to speak. And he, on this legislation, when you run past it and made a ruling on it, you don't go back to it. He was out of order. I don't care who presided. He's out of order.
I give you 5 more minutes. I give
You
you
know, but he interrupted me and he interrupted.
I give you more seconds. Go ahead.
Come on, you got 2 more minutes, Mr. O'May. Go ahead, you making your
And
point.
so, and I appreciate,
These are,
Okay,
got
well
too
then,
many councils around.
no,
30
I'm
seconds, sir.
giving you,
he's
give
giving
you a
an
minute. Come
extra.
on,
Minute,
wrap it
because
up. We always let you speak longer than
Yeah,
everybody.
because you
Go
always
ahead.
interrupting me.
Go ahead. All right.
So you like to do it now. I appreciate you taking a stand in reference to the property for the library. That is your responsibility, your job. You're doing. But he is saying you don't have to honor. No committee usurp your authority. No committee usurp your authority, nor does the mayor. He has to follow the law that you put in place. So let the record reflect, Omaze have spoken.
Thank you, old man. All right,
Beautiful, what I say.
all right.
Next,
Let's teach you about.
you have 3 minutes to speak on anything, sir.
Alright.
Latif Shabazz, 145-17 Stratford. I have been calling City Hall. We have people dumping tires on my street. Nobody answers the phone. Nobody's at work. So I want a legislation you guys could consider. If you catch somebody dumping in the city, you fine them $10,000 or 6 months in jail. That would stop dumping. I brought that to the mayor, but he don't listen to nobody. So, but I think council, you can do this and you can stop this dumping.
All right.
And okay, and then these tires, nobody's coming to pick them up. Somebody dumped some tires right in front of my house. So when I called, they must have came out and moved the bucket, but it had snowed over the tires. Now the tires, snow is melted and the tires in front of my house. Now I got to prove we can pick these tires up and dump them off over there where you got to dump it over there. Over there. Do we have permission to do that?
Eddie Road.
Yeah.
I think you need to check with the mayor with that. I'm not sure.
Well,
Okay.
I hope you guys check with it
All right.
because I have talked to him a number of times.
He's standing out there now.
Well, he ain't in here.
Yeah, all right.
You know, and he went out there to keep from being
You
to
keep-
hear the complaints.
Remind me so I don't forget.
Yeah, I will. But we need access to drop because we can do it ourselves. We tired of asking people to do something in our
Right.
neighborhood that we can do for ourselves. And we're gonna remember this election day,
All right.
okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Any more from the public?
Next,
Okay.
Yes, may I speak?
wait,
Wait
one
a
more.
minute, sir. We got still people. You guys come up. Each got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes and she got 3 minutes.
We gonna put our three together.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Well, first of all, hello, everybody.
Hi.
I want to say.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Andre King. And this is
Andre
my
and Miss
wife,
King. Okay.
Linda King.
All right.
The address is,
We live at 16307 Needleview. We have 6 minutes. You can see that 16307 Needleview Road off of Noble. And we put in an application for 16312 Needleview, which is the lot directly across, well, not directly, but pretty much directly across the street. from us.
But it's not next. It's not on
It's
your
not the
left or
neighbor
right.
next door. So,
Okay.
so we put in the proper application for not neighbor next door, but the other one.
the neighbor,
Uh,
Revitalization.
Yeah.
Revitalization.
We use
Okay.
the appraiser that the city uses, and we had our appraisal done.
Okay.
And Ms. Wallace sent out the paperwork to the neighbors on both sides, seeing if they want to be neighbor next door. No one replied back. So we had a meeting with the NAC. The first meeting, they said they didn't have enough information, so they tabled it. The second meeting, we had the guy that stays next door, not the owner, he just lives there. He got on the meeting and he said he didn't want us to get the lot, but he don't want to buy it. He said he likes it like it is, and he don't want nobody to buy it. So they allowed him to say this, and they tabled it again. We got on the meeting again on May the 11th, and they said that they didn't have any update. They didn't have any. They didn't move it. They didn't do anything.
okay, but 1 minute, my wife was talking about this, but I want you to understand that
Mhm.
these people never put in any paperwork about this at all. The only time this came up is when they found out that we were looking to buy the property.
And they're not the owner. He's not the owner.
Hold on a minute. I do not think it's fair for you to table us just because he doesn't think it's a good idea for us to have it from. He said, well, one of the city council members said, well, would you like a garage next to your house? I told him it is a garage next to every house on the street. I don't understand what you mean. If here's a house, here's a garage. Here's a house, here's a garage. I'm not sure I understand what you mean when you say that. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, and then they say, well, we got to take it back to city council because we don't know under the neighborhood
What's the
revitalization
guidelines?
what the guidelines will be for it. Well, okay, but how long that take?
And they never
They
gave us a
haven't-
date. No, they said they can't make a decision. They pushed it back to Ms. Wallace. So we filed an appeal with Mr. Smedley,
Okay.
asking that we be able to skip the NAC and go straight to council. And we haven't heard anything back.
So basically, what do you want the
We want to go straight
council?
to council.
So
we want to get a resolution.
Say yes or
on
no,
that.
don't
Well,
keep
Yes, sir. Well, I don't think anybody on council is opposed to you getting it.
Right.
We need to have a meeting on it so we can, do it right.
How do we get it unstuck? That's the
Yeah.
question. How do we get it
Well,
What do you
unstuck?
guys
make-
suggest? What do you guys
Make-
suggest?
I'm
Wait a
on
minute.
contracts and property. I'm on contract.
Okay, so what do you
Make an
suggest?
appointment with them, with the NAC. If they don't show up when we show up, then we'll go from there. Cause
Well,
you've
can
been
I-
attempted to do this so many times.
Hold it, Corinne.
And you're not getting where you need to be. So we're gonna do it the right way, so it won't come back and hunt.
Okay, Corinne, go ahead.
I think that the confusion is not anything negative on the NAC's part. I think what is going on is that the NAC is feeling their way. And from what I understand, they're not getting enough information to make decisions on land utilization projects.
Right.
So they are in the process of building procedures to deal with that particular aspect of programming, because from what I understand, they only have an application and document sufficient to deal with neighbor next door. So they don't have what they need to deal with what you're asking them. And so it's not that they're messing you around.
And we
They don't
think
have
that.
it.
We don't think that.
No.
Our only request is that instead of being stuck, how do we move past
There
it?
you
Yeah,
go.
and I want you to understand
That's our only,
something
that's the
too,
only
Mr.
request.
Council. I want you to understand that we paid cash money to have this done. We're not dealing under the neighbor next door. We know
Right.
we're not dealing under.
Okay.
Right.
And we
So-
did our research and came up here and found out exactly what we need to do step by step so that we can purchase
Go
this
forward.
property.
Well, I'm,
So if
go ahead, Corinne. Go ahead.
if they send it back to Solandra Wallace, then, and you said you filed an appeal with Michael Smith, you got copies of those papers?
I have an email. Yes, I can forward the email.
Okay.
Then
And
you probably
he
need
sent
to-
it to mail.
Yeah,
Mel-
that's-
Mel Von Reese.
You want
Yeah.
to forward me
You
the,
probably need to
forward me the
forward
email?
that,
so I
to,
can send it to council?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just need to get your email address.
all of that needs to be sent to the
So
council.
we're here to help all citizens and to help you. And Councilperson Juanita Gowdy, she's contracts and properties. Now, you found out what we did with the library.
Mhm.
We do what we can take recommendations. We have the option to act on them or not act on them.
Mhm.
Buck stops with us.
Mhm.
So I think I can feel the spirit of everybody here. We want to help you get doing what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay?
Keep it moving.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Blowback.
I just
We'll be
want to
stuck.
say that from my point of view, we have certainly tried to deal with the NAC, and I'm sure the NAC did their best, but at this point in time, I see no necessity of making any attempt to go back to the NAC.
Oh.
And I can't guarantee you anything not having seen your paperwork. But it's my assumption from what you said, if what I see on the emails is consistent, I would think that we could simply approve it.
Okay.
What is
Thank
the,
you. That was,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's very
For the lot,
frustrating, you know.
16312.
It's very frustrating to have money and then.
Neil you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Neil.
yeah.
Then you have somebody who didn't even put in a piece of paperwork. I mean, it's been there for the longest. You could put in the paperwork, but you don't do it. Then you tell us you want to keep it the same. You don't even pay to get the grass cut. What are you talking? Just a couple of days ago, they paid somebody to cut their grass. I mean, I'm looking at them like, what do you mean you tabling?
And I have bought the garden boxes and everything to start the garden. And it's like, this is the season and we want to get started, so
is
it's
this
like,
the lot where there's half of the front, is it on the left side of the street or the right side?
when you make a left onto Needle View, it's gonna be on the right-hand side.
Oh,
So guys, what do you guys feel comfortable with
well,
doing?
we need to,
What is
table
your
it.
next committee meeting, remind me?
Okay, but that's
If they
a
send
contract,
us
is
stuff
that a
to
contract,
Tracy,
huh?
Yeah.
They send the stuff to
Contract to property.
Contracts and
Property.
property.
And I'll be,
My contract.
Okay.
I
That's my
listened to
clerk.
that NEC meeting she's talking about. If I'm not mistaken, I think I did figure out a way to actually record that. If I do, I will forward it to the counselors. That young gentleman that she was talking about,
Mhm.
he was a grandson.
Yeah.
And all of a
Right,
sudden,
right.
his mother said she just got power of it because her mother owns it and she's in her 80s or whatever. So 92. So
Okay.
she said she had just now gotten power of attorney.
Guardian over, not over
Oh,
the house,
no,
over her.
only
over
her mother. So the young man sat there and said, well, this is eventually going to be mine.
Yeah, that's it. She got it.
That's what,
Alright.
I was there.
So
So it's like, so I think
Rowdy,
I did get to record it.
it'll come, we're gonna take care.
Okay.
We'll, okay.
Okay.
You know how to reach any of us up here, but her committee, okay?
Okay,
It's Tuesday at 6:30.
next Tuesday, we'll be,
6:30.
we'll be in Vegas.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, my daughter is a nurse in Vegas. I haven't seen her in 2
Well, the
years,
next,
so.
I'll have another committee after that. My next committee after that.
Yeah, but stay on us, okay?
But-
Okay.
All right,
Give her
nice
all
seeing
the
you.
information.
Nice
They
seeing
don't
you.
do what they don't do what they supposed to do, calm,
Give-
because you in my ward.
And you know what? You know what? I didn't want to do it, so I'm glad we get to, need to.
But remember that I'm at large, so you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we love all
Okay,
of
time
you,
is
you
up,
know,
time is up.
so-
Okay, thank you, King. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Take care, all right. Okay.
Anybody online?
Okay, the people on the Zoom,
Yes, I just want to,
Your
may
name?
may I?
yes, go ahead. Does that sound like Rashid?
Yes, sir, it is.
Go
I just-
ahead. You have the floor, Rashid.
Well, good evening, Council President and council
right.
members. I just wanted to say thank you for your support of the East Cleveland Public Library, for standing by us. And we're an institution, as you know, have been in this community for over 100 years, and we're preparing ourselves and doing the proper things to make sure that we will be here for 100 and something more. Thank you very much for your support, and we'll await for the actual vote on the legislation.
All right.
And Brother Rashid,
Yes, sir.
when we vote on it, was it June 7th?
June 7th.
June 7th, if you could bring your group and we'll all give them a big hug, okay? All right.
I guarantee you we'll all be there.
All right, okay.
Anybody else on Zoom? Next? Any more remarks from the public? There is none?
No. Okay, no more for the public. Councilwoman Corinne Stevenson.
I would like to talk about Chase on Terrace Road.
You putting that in your remarks?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The Terrace Road has kids on it. Terrace Road has schools on it. The police cannot be chasing people up and down Terrace Road. I came out today. Yeah, and I came down Stanwood, and in the middle of Stanwood, there's a divider when you get to Terrace Road. Well, there was a pole on that divider, and now the pole is gone. It was found in the middle of the street, I guess, as a result of a police chase over the weekend. So we gotta do something about that, because there's too many kids on Terrace Road. Those kids come out of school, they're walking up and down the street, the band is over there, too many kids over there, that has to be shut down. You cannot come on Terrace Road chasing people. We already had a child get killed out here on Euclid Avenue.
Yeah.
This city is not in the business of killing kids. Now they're getting ready to really get me upset, because you can't be in my community killing the kids. And all they're doing is trying to go to school and go home. They're not committing no crimes, they're not doing anything, but traveling to school and home. It's bad enough they gotta go past the drugs, the rehab house, and all these other places, the pedophile place down there, all these different places that they have to walk past to get to school. And now we have chases on Terrace Road, so they're in even more danger. So that has to be shut down. That's not something I'm going to walk away from. Back up for the agenda items, I already spoke about that. And the disadvantages to council not having that information. I want to ask the clerk to do the research to find the option information that Mr. Mays spoke about. To see if we have something actually here. And I think that concludes my remarks.
Thank you. Patricia Glover.
A number of things of varying import. One is, 'tis the season for lake music. I was
What kind of music?
late at night,
Late
otherwise
music.
known as early in the morning,
Oh, all right.
otherwise known as till 1:30.
All right.
And I would like to remind everyone that we do have a policy, a law about keeping people up at night. And I would like it if you would find a copy of that for me. Should be easy enough. I've had it in the past, but not recently enough. A simple question, next one, very simple. Somebody please find out when the Eddy Road facility is supposed to be open. Because I've been there to try to drop things off at times that I think are reasonable, like 3 in the afternoon. And I found it closed, and I would have thought that it would have been open reasonable daytime hours. At any rate, next thing, the police department. I hope everyone is aware that there is now a podcast that people from Cleveland.com are doing solely on our police chases. And they say there's one almost every day. I don't have the details on that. Almost every day. And that is not acceptable. Council passed a resolution some time ago. And police are not paying any attention to it. And add that to the fact that the Cleveland NAACP referred our police department to the Department of Justice for evaluation because of the way we're acting. And add to that the fact that lawyers are not taking cases that they would otherwise take because they can't get paid from the city if they win their cases, and they should be able to get judgments. Our police department needs attention. It's not just me saying that, it's not just my neighbors saying that, it's not just some of the people here on council saying that. It's the entire region that is saying that. The region is saying we need to deal with cases, we need to deal with the way the police are acting, we need to deal with the students, the kids are saying we need to deal with our streets, we need to get them in order. We can't let it go anymore. And it is totally unacceptable that our police are not paying attention to council. They're misusing the license plate readers. There's national attention to the inappropriate shot spotter actions around the country. We'll drop that one for the moment. Believe me, I'll be back. The other thing is, at voting, one of our precincts had 1.5% of their registered voters who voted in the last primary. 1.5. Now, a lot of them were in the 7, 8, 9, 10% region, which is not acceptable, but it's a lot better than 1.5. And the highest one was 28%, which still isn't good, but for us it's great. So I have printed out a list of the registered voters in my precinct. I haven't been certified, but I've been elected to the precinct committee, as have other people in the room. And I plan to compare my list to the occupied houses. And any house that's occupied that I don't have a name on it, I hope to get them voter registration forms and try to get them registered. We have another election coming up, probably in August. Unless a crazy legislature, state legislature does something bizarre. But I would really like it if everybody else would at least take that block. And I can come up with a list of street names, different precincts. And we all make sure that we get more people registered. And you know, have seen us coming around. And we all go out and talk to them. More July, remind them of this election. I would hope that we can do better than 1.5%. Thank you.
Thank you. Juanita Gowdy.
Thank you, Council President. I am just overwhelmed with what you're saying, Patricia. Councilwoman. Yesterday, I was coming home and it's early in the morning and the police officer actually pulled me over because he said that my license plate have somebody's name on there and their license is suspended. And he called out the wrong name. I am so sick of these police officers in East Cleveland. I really is. All of them not bad, but they make them all look bad because of what they did. Disrespectful, 100% disrespectful. Just pulled me over, called out the wrong name, went back there and checked the license plates again, and called out the wrong name again, talking about Reno. You know, I mean, who in the heck? You know, and I was like, this car we've been driving up and down, paying insurance and everything, you know. Nowhere in the world it was a Reno. You know, so that's, I mean, they doing stuff already, and they ain't even hot yet. It has been some hot days, but I'm just saying, summertime ain't even over with. How many people are they doing this to? And if I didn't know better, and if they didn't know who, and they knew who I was, just skip by who, you know, knowing that I'm a councilwoman, regardless of the fact, is disrespectful for one thing. And then call out somebody else's name, and I have license and insurance. Just doing stuff just to do that to people randomly. You know, this ain't the first time they pulling people over. I see them all the time, flying up and down the street like it's a freeway. You know, it's scary. And then they go past the jurisdiction. They go to Cleveland. They go all the way in Cleveland. I see them all the way up in Cleveland Heights. You see them all over the place, but where they need to be when it's time for a crime. So they doing more damage than good to our city. And they saying that they being trained. What is they being trained for? You know, I just believe that we need to just cut their expense. Cut them down, you know. Get them in their pocket because they not doing our city no good. They don't live here anyway. So they're not going to respect the people that live here. They're not doing it. So I disagree with you, Brandon King, when you say you got some good cops. No, you might have a few good cops, but the majority of them need to be out of East Cleveland. They need to go back home where they belong because they don't respect our neighborhood at all. I am just devastated, still devastated of how he did it. And he was arrogant. I know who you are. Okay, then you need to get the name right because for one thing, it was not Reno, you know, that you pulled over. And the second thing, I have license and I have insurance. Even if you ran it through there, I got license and insurance. So if Reno wasn't driving the car and you knew I was driving it, why would you pull me over anyway? And you knew I was not a man. You just trying to be funny. These police officers in East Cleveland, and I'm being honest about it, they need to be ashamed of themselves to even call themselves a cop. Because their profile is showing that they do not care about our neighborhood. And they don't care about the people that lives here. They not for our safety. If they was, they would not be doing the things that they do. And I'm very upset. And if I could hit them in their pocket, that's what I want to do. And the second thing is about the next door neighbor houses and stuff like that. You know, we got property that's being blocked. People want to come in and buy property. And they can't, I'm talking about Mr. Hood now. I am still upset about him. He should be able to do what he had to do. And he had proved his point many a time. But to argue back and forth with a man that's already got the money, and I already looked over it. Did y'all do y'all homework? Did y'all call the lender? I'm just saying, we have to really call these lenders. These lenders they is not playing. They want to come in and do some work for our city. And I'm looking forward for them, if they could come back, you know, because we do need new houses. We do need help in our city. And if they can help us any kind of way, I would love them to come back and reconsider. And last but not least, I want to thank the library for all the hard work that y'all have been putting in. Be an example how you take care of property. Be an example how you did not get paid. You still kept the property up even when you got rejected the first, second, and third time. So I am so proud of y'all. Each and every one of you. Y'all deserve that property. And we're going to make sure that we'll give it to you. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, is Ernest Smith with us?
No,
No,
he's not on.
okay, I'm gonna let the mayor, he wasn't here when his time came up. But then
Well, no,
I'll-
it's response to council and mayor. So.
Yeah, so we'll let the mayor, and then I'll make the last remarks and
Thank you,
close
Council
out.
President.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to, I was given a number when I went back upstairs,
Okay.
when I came in. Reminder, the Teletown Hall is this Thursday at 6 a.m. The call-in number is 8.
Wait a minute, hold it, I'm gonna write it down.
I'll send it by
Say it
email.
twice.
I'll send it by email.
All right, okay.
855-756-7520. Extension 82101 pound. And then repeat that.
Pound, repeat that.
Dial in number 855-756-7520. The extension 82101 pound. Would like to comment?
And that's Thursday, right?
This Thursday at 6 p.m. Like to thank Councilwoman Gowdy for agreeing to disagree. I would proffer that every police department has its challenges, as we all do in society. There's always going to be some bad apples. Certainly when we find those bad apples, we deal with them accordingly. Zero tolerance. We, as a city, have an excellent group of officers that have been with us a number of years, including the detectives. Before the pandemic, we used to go to Stephanie Tubb Jones, Council President,
Okay,
right?
Right.
We there, and we there with the prosecutor's report.
yeah,
And he accolade after accolade of the East Cleveland Police Department and the detectives and the work that they do, because they care about this community. They serve this community well. Are there some bad apples? Absolutely. Get that in part of life. But overall, we have an excellent police department. I feel for you. I can recall in my younger years being in other suburbs, not to mention the name. I'm driving my mom's car, my aunt's car. They pulled me over. Hey man, who car are you in? My mom, right? I got my ID, insurance. I got to show them all. They play 20 questions, right? So if they run the plate and the plate say that it's expired or that the person shouldn't be driving, it's got the wrong name, you may want to have that cleared up,
It don't have the wrong thing.
Don't respond.
right? Because I'm not sure how it ended or why it came back wrong, right? But I just wanted to make sure that I thank you for agreeing to disagree, because I think we had great police officers, right? And unless there are any questions or concerns, I thank you, Council President, and I look
Thank you.
forward to everyone on the telecom on this
Thursday at 6,
6 p.m.
right? Okay, my remarks are very brief. I just want to say that I'm very proud of the council. I'm very proud of the council with the library situation. Our library was awarded 5 stars. And the library is, we have a fantastic library. And you don't hear me speak a lot of times when I'm at the library. We have different programs. We are the only library in the state of Ohio with a performing arts center where you can get 250 people. I was there about 3 or 4 weeks ago for a group out of Akron. It was packed and they were fantastic. No library in Ohio has performing arts. Okay. They've had their struggles. I can remember my council colleagues. We used to have one off Caledonia and one off Hayden or Brent. We don't have that any longer. But we have the one here. We got to make sure. So we try to follow process and procedure most of the time, and sometimes we just can't get there. This particular situation, I felt the need and I felt the spirit of the council people that we got to do this. And we waived the fee, $120 fee on a 5 parcel. So everything is not absolute. So thank you. I just want to thank all of you for that. Thank you for your leadership. Okay. And support our library. And I need to say something about what Ms. Blahovec said about voting. It's not just East Cleveland. Cleveland was bad. Across the country, we're not voting. We're not voting. Now, why that is, I don't know. The churches, I'm just, for example, the churches and places, the barbershops, the place where women get their hair done, all that where discussions take place. But we need to do better. I was at Stephanie Tubb Jones this morning, meeting with some folks, and they were talking about areas of improvement for the city of East Cleveland. We talked about not having a grocery store, talked about not having a bank. All of that I brought up. We're gonna have to correct that. Now, I believe philosophically that we have land and location in city, and they're coming in here. Either we at the table, or they're gonna buy us out like they did in Harlem. So we gotta be together. We're not gonna agree on everything, but we gotta work together for the citizens. Those who've been in the city for 30, 40 years. We can do it. But in closing, I wanna say this. Thank you. When I think about the library, let me share this with you. My daughter graduated from Kent State. And she worked as an intern at the library. You didn't know this. She works as an intern, Gerald Severa. Then she went to college, and now she's a registered nurse at University Hospital. Okay, so the library has done good. I've done a number of things there. When we had issues around having a meeting, we couldn't go any place because of the COVID thing, the pandemic and all like that, they opened up for us to have our meetings here. So it's a great institution and we have supported, and we are independent. We're not under the county system. We run our own library. That's unique. So thank you. This is something great that we've done. So I would say keep us in prayer. I was saying, I think Ms. Blahovic was saying, reach out to your neighbors about voting. We got to vote. We have got to vote, okay? All,
They took the voting polls out of my.
well, we need to deal with that. Okay,
That's
okay,
a
okay.
big problem.
So I would say even with that, we need to go down, see the guy down there, I've met him before, and let him say, we don't have a polling place in Ward 2. But we can't sit around and not do it, we have to act on it.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
I've already discussed. it.
okay, so thank you, you are a good council. We don't always agree, but you are a good council with good people. So let it be written, so let it be told, I have spoken, okay? All right. So I'm open for adjournment, okay?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, thank you.
The time
Okay.
is,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Now, don't move these tables because they got wires, we got wires running through them.
Oh, really?
Right. See, these wires.
bye, sweetie. Tell your wife I said feel better.